All right, let's get into this thing. The Broncos win, but what's it a win? Like, what's it mean when Jarrett Stidham doesn't really look that much better than Russell Wilson? There are some differences. I want to get into those differences. It's not as simple as they're exactly the same. Like, no, I think it's different. I think it looked a little bit different. Result and passer wise, about the same as well. Denver Sports post game live. The Denver Broncos get that win. And I don't know about you guys, but kind of annoyed me whenever they kept talking about any sort of playoff chances, right? Like, here we go with the playoff chances. Here we go with the Broncos. I mean, yes, the playoff chances are there, but I just wanted to see Jarrett Stidham play better football. I wanted to see the Broncos get the win. They did do that over the hapless Los Angeles Chargers. Cecil Lammey here to talk about it with you. Wearing a special t-shirt today. So we'll get to all that. But a weird week in the National Football League. It comes to a close with this one for the Broncos. Week 17, their record now 8-8. 8 wins for the first time in what seems like forever. 16-9 over the Chargers. It should have been more. Like, there were some good things. There were some not so good things. It should have been more. And for some reason, the offense just kept coming up short. The offense kept faltering. The Chargers stink. Whatever, it's Easton Stick. Nobody was expecting much anything different. But yeah, the Denver Broncos, they win. Never going to be disappointed with a win. Okay, so I want to highlight that like immediately off the bat because people will be like, why are you upset about a win? I'm not upset that they won, nor should you be. But against this team, could they have looked a little bit sharper? What did we learn about Jarrett Stidham? That's the most important thing for me. Now, crossers and in breaking routes were back. Slants were back. Multiple level passing concepts were back. Full field reads were back. So all of these things that were missing with Russell Wilson were there with Jarrett Stidham, but the results weren't much different. So what did you think of Jarrett Stidham's performance? Let me know in the chat room as the show goes on. I'll be getting to that. But 16-9 is the final score. Jarrett Stidham going 20 of 32, 224 yards, 1 touchdown, no INT, sacked a couple of times. The big one to little Jordan Humphrey, the big 54-yarder for the touchdown. 2 catches, 69 yards. Jeudy with 3 for 54 in this one, a big 41-yarder from Jeudy there. I thought we might see a little bit more. Brandon Johnson, 4 for 27. Most of the time, though, little Jordan Humphrey notwithstanding, but the pass is 6 targets for Brandon Johnson, 6 targets for Jeudy. And what was disappointing about Jarrett Stidham is that just the targets were off. Like, his play was off. And, you know, first start, there's a lot of reasons / excuses that you could look at it and say, well, why did he look like that? Well, it's his first start for the Broncos. I know he started last year. Don't at me, bro. But you could tell the chemistry was off. I felt bad for Jeudy on a couple of occasions, felt bad for Brandon Johnson on a couple of occasions, because there were some hospital balls that were thrown by Jarrett Stidham, straight up getting guys killed, straight up throwing guys into coverage, throwing them into safeties. And when Derwin James is back there, listen, the Chargers may choke and be slappies for the most part. They've got some playmakers. Derwin James is certainly one of those playmakers. So Jarrett Stidham's timing was off. His chemistry was off. Little Jordan Humphrey notwithstanding. But you definitely saw the disconnect with Jeudy. It was opportunity there for Jeudy to have more. It was an opportunity there. I said 250 and 3 touchdowns for Stidham. So I didn't hit on either one of those because it was 224 and it was 1 touchdown for Stidham. So again, like, they win. There's some good things to take away. Broncos defense plays a good game. I'll get into the defense here in a little bit, but this game was all about Jarrett Stidham. And for me, I'm not going to blame Jarrett Stidham. Like, he should have looked better. And I'm not going to blame Sean Payton to be like, Sean Payton was trying to come up with this scheme where he could showcase his offense. Yeah, but why didn't you do this sooner? If this is what you wanted to do, get the kinks worked out, so to speak, with Jarrett Stidham by starting him earlier, and then it wouldn't look this bad once he has a couple of games underneath his belt. once he has a couple of games where he's able to, get better time with Jeudy. Just the passes behind Jeudy, a little bit behind, a little bit in front of guys like Brandon Johnson, Jeudy. Those are the two main players where there were deficiencies in the on-field chemistry with Jarrett Stidham. So is that really on Stidham? No. At the end of the day, he's just a guy. I mean, you probably should have known that. The Broncos, I'm not talking about the fan base, although I know some fans are really excited to get away from Russell Wilson and to get Jarrett Stidham in there. Well, this is what you get. It's not that great. And it's not that great because the chemistry's not that great, which can't be worked on if he's the backup quarterback. It can't be sharpened even during a week of practice. That's just not going to be the case. So I'm not going to lose my mind over one win, an ugly win, not a very good looking win, that's for sure. I'm not going to lose my mind over Stidham looking average because Stidham is pretty average. So, is this a confirmation of who he is? Yeah, kind of, but mostly it's a confirmation that if you really wanted to see Stidham run your offense, you should have started him earlier. You should have made this happen earlier. Team went on a win streak. They got hot after the Chiefs game. Even after the Chiefs lost the Thursday night one, this team kind of figured out how they had to win. You could have easily won this game with Russell Wilson. There was no difference there. The difference was in the types of plays that you called and the way that Stidham responded to said pressure. Now, they didn't pressure him much, I believe, at one point, and it might have been in the third quarter when that stat came on the screen of like, hey, about 82% of the time he's not under pressure, and about 19% of the time he was under pressure. So the Chargers really didn't pressure him that much. I wonder what it would look like had they pressured him more. Would it looked even worse, right? Because with no pressure, you'd think he could sit back there and pluck a defense apart, especially because there were multi-level concepts that were refreshing to see. It was refreshing to see this offense more true to design. I'd say it was frustrating to see Jarrett Stidham out there being off with his targets and not hitting guys as much in stride. I'll give the Jeudy big play as an example where you've got Jeudy in the slot. You've got 3 this way, 2 underneath this way. So it really creates a crossing concept. Stidham's able to find Jeudy wide open. Chargers played it terribly. And Jeudy makes a play after the catch. And then, of course, Will Lutz missed the field goal on that one. So there you go with kickers. My hot kicker talk is I can't stand kickers. I don't think kickers are football players, let alone people. Anyway, I don't want to be cruel on New Year's. I hope everyone has a safe and happy New Year's, by the way. But with Jarrett Stidham, this isn't any sort of like cement. He's terrible or anything like that. Like, it's just kind of this whole game, if you could sum it up in one word, if it even is a word, if not an emotion, it's meh. The Broncos beat the Chargers. Jarrett Stidham was meh. Like, he wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. He was okay. But Jarrett Stidham throughout his whole career is like not great, not terrible. He's just kind of okay. Stidham even talking to the announcers where it's like, yeah, Sean Payton really liked those 2 games last year with the Raiders, and they lost both of them. So it's like he fought really hard against the 49ers when he was the Raiders starter, and they still lost. He fought really hard when they played the Chiefs, and the Chiefs beat him up pretty good, and they lost that one as well. So another L in the books for Jarrett Stidham. Another win now for Jarrett Stidham this time. It feels like an L. I don't know what it feels like. It just feels odd. I'm not disappointed that this team's likely to miss the postseason. A lot of things happen. Big week in the NFL in terms of playoff seeding. And oh my God, nobody wants to face Baltimore. Nobody wants to face Baltimore. I digress. We won't talk about the Ratbirds. We'll talk about the Broncos and mainly just talk about Jarrett Stidham. Like, that's what we're watching here for. We're watching for the future. Guys can carry momentum from the end of one year into the next year. So I'm looking for momentum from Jaleel McLaughlin, looking for momentum from Drew Sanders, types of young players, rookie players with upside. You want to see them kind of spark their career here at the end of the season. But with Jarrett Stidham, I'm not really upset that he was average because he's an average quarterback. And I am slightly disappointed that it couldn't have been better. Like, you you made this move. And I think this show is mainly about Jarrett Stidham, Sean Payton, and Russell Wilson. And Wilson didn't even play, although he was ready and raring to play and the good teammate and all those sorts of things. Everything that we've talked about during the week, that's what Russell Wilson is. But with Jarrett Stidham, like, Sean Payton, you made the move, and then you made the move, you led SportsCenter, Ryan Clark calling you a thug, which, again, I wouldn't call anybody a thug. I think it's a poor choice of words. You want to say tyrant? Sure. You want to say old school? Sure. I think it's funny when those outside of the Denver media are commenting on Twitter, like, why would the Denver media call Sean Payton a tyrant? Be around Sean Payton and then you'll know. Like, talk to me in the building if you're going to have that sort of opinion. Yeah, Sean Payton's a tyrant. He's old school. I don't care. Like, I care about him winning. They did win today, but you make that move. I would have liked to have seen, and maybe I live in a world of fantasy, but I would have liked to seen the Denver Broncos come out and drop 28 points. Offense looked good. Like I said, 250 and 3 touchdowns for Jarrett Stidham. I would have liked to seen that, because then I seen it. Then I could say there's Sean Payton's offense. I can tell you there's Sean Payton's offense because of the multi-level concepts and the crossers and the in-breaking routes and the slants, all the stuff that Russell Wilson wasn't throwing. You saw Jarrett Stidham throw. Not throw well, by the way, but you did see him make those throws. So I wanted to see more and more efficiency. I guess I'm foolish for thinking that, he'd come out and sling it, but he did it last year. He did it last year with the Raiders in a similar situation where they just told Derek Carr to go home. And then Jarrett Stidham's the starter same week. So in a similar situation, I guess I expected more from Jarrett Stidham. Is this an indictment on Sean Payton's move? No, he hasn't wanted Russell Wilson as a starter for months now, plural. And he probably didn't want Russell Wilson the day he showed up. He probably didn't want Russell Wilson as his quarterback. He told the ownership group, if I were to guess, he'd probably say something like, hey, if anybody can fix him, I can. And give me a shot to see what he can do. And then when he couldn't do what he wanted him to do, the team went to a run-heavy mode. They started winning. The defense played out of their minds with all those turnovers, which were never sustainable. They go on a win streak. They are the hottest team in the NFL during the win streak. It seems like forever ago now, but that was the case with this team. Then it falls apart. Houston, Detroit, the New England loss. Russell Wilson gets benched, and here we are. So what did we really learn? Like, what did y'all think of Stidham? Again, he wasn't great, but Stidham's not great. And Sean Payton, it's very curious because, like, Jarrett Stidham's making more money than Baker Mayfield, right? Now, you could make the argument, would Baker have even come here because he wouldn't have the shot at starting? But it's like, you paid Jarrett Stidham a lot of money, and he's not really that good. I don't want to put that as another George Payton mistake, but my God, George Payton's getting thrown under the bus. I got to put a pin in that because even the announcers will talk to Sean Payton. The announcers will get kind of the vibe during the week. We'll usually see him out at practice on a Friday, and they're not with us media types, us muggles. Shout out, muggles. They're not with us. They're usually on they're over there with coach, usually, like on a Friday. And Fridays, you get to see a lot of stuff. You might even see trick plays like that flea flicker or that one play that didn't work against Houston, which I can't tell you what it is because it didn't work and whatever. But like, the announcers will be over on the other side. They'll get a lot of information fed to them. And information that was fed to them is George Payton stinks. That was the information fed to them, basically. I'm paraphrasing because they didn't come out and say that. But if you listen to the broadcast, it was like, wow. You are, in media terms, throwing Sean Payton under the bus. So, throwing George Payton, too many Paytons. No, not for long. There won't be too many Paytons for long, but like, they're throwing George Payton under the bus. Like, that's what they were kind of told. So, what? Why would Sean Payton like Jarrett Stidham that much? There's already a book out on Jarrett Stidham. You had multiple coaching staffs that you could have asked about Jarrett Stidham. And that's where, I guess, if I am disappointed, and I'm not really disappointed, I'm just kind of looking forward to getting through the workday and then getting to this evening and some partying, Yeah, celebrating the new year, celebrating hopefully a better year for the Denver Broncos. So maybe that's where my head's at. But like, I'm disappointed because you're excited about this guy. You paid him handsomely. You really wanted to go to him much sooner than you did. Circumstances kind of prevented the team from making the move to Jarrett Stidham. And then this is what you get. Like, I'm really excited about Jarrett Stidham, 220 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's not excited. 250, 3 touchdowns, air show, right? That was one of our thumbnails this week on Orange and Blue Today. Shout out Andrew Mason, where it was like, Stidham air show, question mark. No, Stidham yawn show, Stidham bore show, Stidham average, painfully average show, the big show, the wonderful bird show. Like, shout out PCU. A lot of shout outs on this. Anyway, it's a gamer fuel. Calm down. It's not anything else but gamer fuel yet. Gamer fuel and coffee. Maybe I should not drink so much caffeine. But either way, like, yeah, I mean, this offense needed caffeine. This offense needed a triple latte. So where's Jarrett Bell? So Sean Payton can spill the beans to him. It's weird. This whole thing is weird. Like, I don't know. Yeah, you just could have done business differently. You don't like Russell Wilson. Okay, yeah, bench him. Yeah, okay. But bench him and then look like this? Like, bench him and look like an air show. Then you go, oh, I guess Russell Wilson couldn't run his offense. And again, the film geek in me will tell you, the viewing audience, yes, there were multi-level concepts. Yes, there were full field reads. I generally was happy with Stidham's hitches and his footwork. And you saw where his feet were going because your feet lead your eyes. So you could tell when he's hitching back there, you may think it's like happy feet or nervous feet. In my younger days, when Peyton Manning was in college, so it tells you how much younger I was and how long ago it was. When I'd watch Peyton Manning's, I was like, he's got happy feet in that was an Orange Bowl against Nebraska, and they lost. Damn it, because I can't stand Nebraska and the Bug Eaters. Forget you, Nebraska. But anyway, I remember watching that, and was it the Alberts boys or whatever? Like, you saw those guys harassing Peyton Manning, but you saw his feet. And I was like, he's got happy feet. No, he's doing hitches. Those hitches, he's going through his progressions. And of course, Peyton could go through them very fast. So that's why his feet looked very fast. I was encouraged by Stidham's feet because I could tell by his feet, as you always can. It's one thing I said to Drew Locke, told Andy, told Drew, your feet, man. You got to clean up your feet. You got to make your feet faster. Stidham's feet were fine. His brain was fine. Like, in terms of reading this offense, it was fine. It's just when you throw, it's almost like his feet were on time and then his arm was like a beat late. And so he was behind guys. Now that's timing. That's, chemistry. That's all these things that I'm talking about in the show. And be careful doing an hour-long post-game show by yourself. You'll repeat yourself. I thought it was funny last week. Someone in the chat was like, you're just repeating yourself. Oh, God. Okay. Anyway, you talk for an hour straight. So, like, you watch his hitches. He was making full field reads. That was encouraging. But then I don't know if it was his motion. Like, he needs to speed it up a little bit. He certainly has an arm. You saw that on the big throw down the field. Philip Dorsett that fell incomplete. But it's like just a little fast, little faster, a little cleaner. And you could have had more production. Let's say you hit on Dorsett on that play. Now he is 250. Maybe that puts him in position to score. So maybe it's 250 and 2 touchdowns. I would have taken that. 250 and 2 touchdowns. I got 225 and 1. That's not good. And Jarrett Stidham at the end of the day is not good. I'm not going to be mad at him. That's kind of who he is. But in Sean Payton, like, I guess mainly my disappointment is in Sean Payton. I believe in Sean Payton because I believe in Greg Penner. And Greg Penner has given full control to Sean Payton. He's got to get his guy, though, and he's got to get a better guy than Jarrett Stidham. For everyone out there, and I understand people are getting ahead of themselves, perhaps even too much ahead of themselves. Like, what does it mean for free agency? What does it mean? Like, I don't give a damn. They got 2 games left. I got to see what this thing looks like with someone else not named Russell Wilson, and it didn't really look that good. Like, so you can go into next year with Jameis Winston, right? Cost-controlled quarterback. Mace is going to say it 1,000,000 times. I'm going to say it 1,000,001 times. Like, cost-controlled quarterback. That just means they're kind of suck, okay? That just means they're kind of average. Can Sean Payton elevate a Jameis Winston? Yeah, sure. Does anyone want Jameis Winston? No. God, no. See, look what I'm wearing. See that? John Elway. And I'm not saying that everyone that shows up and wears the orange and blue has to be John Elway, but damn it, that's the flipping standard. I brought up Peyton Manning and John Elway already in the first 20 minutes of the show. You think the standard is Jarrett Stidham? You think the flipping standard is like, I hope we can get Jameis Winston, guys? That would suck. That would suck. That would be terrible. Could it look better? Could Sean Payton? Oh my God, yes. Who the flip wants that? Okay? Who wants that? Does anybody want that? That's why I want a rookie. I want to move up for some rookie. Get Sean Payton's guy. I don't even care if it's moving up to number 1. And I don't care if you have to, sorry, Pat Surtain. Why is Pat Surtain playing off coverage on Quentin Johnston? That's a flipping rookie. That's a rookie. And it's a first-round rookie, to be sure. I like Quentin Johnston coming out of TCU. I had a first-round grade on him. I've been disappointed in Quentin Johnston this year. Like, comparatively speaking to other receivers in his class that are out there, like, Quentin Johnston hasn't looked as good. And it's not where, let's say, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's sitting behind DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in Seattle, like, he's always had those guys in front of him. Quentin Johnston, you don't have Keenan Allen. You haven't had Mike Williams since like week 3 or whatever it is. Like, you're the man, you're the guy, and he's not doing anything except when the Chargers have to move the chains. Was that 3rd down and 5 or 4th and 5, whatever it was? And then Pat Surtain's playing off coverage. Dude, what are you doing? So either he's being coached to do that, or he's just doing that on his own. And if he's being coached to do that, dare I go off on Vance Joseph again? Didn't y'all have enough of that after the Dolphins game? Like, I think in a large way, the Broncos are kidding themselves. Vance Joseph and the defense, like, yeah, I guess, whatever. I'm not going to lose my mind over Vance Joseph. I just don't think it's really that good, honestly. He never really has been outside of 1 year with Arizona. And, that's the truth. And I don't care if it seems belligerent. That's the way it is. Vance Joseph, as a defensive coordinator, has basically been 1 year. He's been good. And then this year during that run, they were unbelievable and the turnovers and it was crazy. Like, but now you're facing Bailey Zappi and you're losing. You're facing Easton Stick. And when you could just shut him down, like, VJ's got to tell Pat Surtain, who is incredibly talented and maybe the top best corner in the league, or maybe not, like, dude, that's a rookie who's been disappointed. Get in his kitchen, press him, and if Easton Stick dares to throw at you, you pick that dumbass, or wait, excuse me, sorry, you pick off that dumbass football, not the players. No player is ever dumb or moronic. I got in trouble once for calling Paxton Lynch a moron on the air. Corporate, don't send me an email. It's the football that's a dumbass, never the quarterback. And Easton Stick is fine. He's nice. I think I saw him at the Shrine game. I think because he was the guy that followed up Carson Wentz. Anyway, pick off the flipping football, make it a pick six, make him pay. Where's the Champ Bailey plays? We talk about Pat Surtain as like, he's like Champ Bailey. I saw Champ Bailey make plays. You think Devontae Parker is going to get after Champ Bailey? You think a rookie is going to get after Champ Bailey? Like, Surtain, I don't know if you're playing not to get hurt. Some fans have suggested that. I don't necessarily agree with that. So I don't know if he's being coached. Like, if Vance Joseph is telling him, like, just play off and keep everything in front of you. That is, I will say this without offending anyone, although everyone's offended over everything these days. Hopefully 2024 changes that, although I doubt it will. That's a cowardly way to coach and a cowardly way to play. You're facing Keenan Allen. You want to play some off coverage, keep everything in front of you. And not that Allen's a burner, but he can cut a rug. Keenan Allen can get open. So you play Keenan Allen that way. I kind of get it, right? He's a superstar. You play a rookie who's been disappointing this year that way, and to get out. So again, for all the fans out there, and you love the Broncos, that's awesome. You love Pat Surtain. Good for you, bud. I'm still trading him if it means getting Drake May. Sorry. Where's the Champ Bailey plays? Like, seriously, where are those type of shutdown plays? Like, that's why you got Pat Surtain. I see Micah Parsons make plays all the time. Where's the plays from Pat Surtain? They don't throw him the ball. Like, well, when they do, it works. When Easton Stick needs to move the chains, Easton Stick, for the love of God, he's not that good. Okay? When Easton Stick makes that throw with that dumbass football, when he makes that throw, it works on a crunch time, got to move the chains type of play. Somebody tell me if it was 3rd and 5 or 4th and 5. My brain is failing me. Anyway, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because that's why that guy's has that reputation. But is it reputation or is it the truth? Like, what is it? And people seem offended. This is another thing that bothers me. You know what really grinds my gears? Is when you can't just say something without everyone being offended. I can't critique Pat Surtain without people, oh, he's the best corner ever, like losing their mind. He's not playing like it. He's nice. He's good to the media. I like his dad. I like Pat. I really like Pat. He's not playing like a top 3 corner. Not even talking about playing like the best corner in the league. He's not playing like a top 3, top 5, dare I say top 10 corner in this league. So what is it? Can we just not critique anybody? Don't say anything. It's Pat Surtain. Or can we go, dude, like, we all love you, play better. That's Quentin Johnston. First round rookie, but rookie. And Easton Stick's throwing the ball. Come on, make that play. And I don't even need to see a pick 6, although it would be nice. But make that play with a batted pass. Like, what are you throwing a Pat Surtain for? 3rd and 5, 4th and 5. What are you doing, Easton Stick? That's dumb. That's a dumb decision. But instead, it worked. Bailey Zappi going to Devontae Parker last week. Like, that's a dumb decision if you make him pay. If you make him pay, what are you throwing a Pat Surtain for? What? Didn't you see 2 over there? 2 has got you locked down. Get away from that side. Shut down corner. So again, is it VJ's coaching? Perhaps. Is it Surtain playing not to get hurt? I don't see that, although fans have suggested that. I personally don't see that. And if I did see that, it would take me a lot to say that. I think that's maybe more of a piercing commentary. Like, it's a bit, I would say, nescient to make that observation. From some in the fan base who are saying he doesn't want to get hurt. Like, no. I think that's somewhat nescient. Could be wrong, but I don't have that observation. Could totally be wrong. But either way, I know he's not playing like a shutdown corner. He's not playing like a lockdown corner, and it should look better. So what I want to see, getting back to my original point, what's my point? The point is I want to see Sean Payton's offense with a stud quarterback, or a quarterback that's not Jameis Winston or Jarrett Stidham or whatever. It really grinds my gears when that is suggested. I understand that's going to be the way it has to be, because you have to pay Russell Wilson all this money because of the worst contract ever. Worst trade in NFL history, worst contract in NFL history outside of Deshaun Watson, who is many things. I don't like talking about Deshaun Watson. I don't like Deshaun Watson. Don't like Ben Roethlisberger. Wonder why. Russell Wilson's a good man. He's got a terrible deal for the Broncos, and you're going to have to pay for that. So maybe it is Jameis Winston. Maybe it's, what does Bender say in Futurama? Wow, heavy drinking crowd. Like, yeah, maybe next year when you're all watching those 8 games at home at Empower Field at Mile High, maybe it is a heavy drinking crowd, because you have to be, because Jameis Winston is your flipping starter. Like, none of this is good. Had I seen Jarrett Stidham with 250 and 3 touchdowns, that's just the number I'm going to use. Had I seen that today, I would be able to say, like, okay, there's Sean Payton's offense. And you might have, but Stidham was off. He was throwing hospital balls. Guys were getting killed. He was throwing behind receivers. Like, the timing and the chemistry was off with those receivers. This is all on Jarrett Stidham. The design was there, and it's always been there. And you did, again, listen to what the announcers say, because remember, these announcers, and God bless them all, outside of Mark Schlereth, because I know Mark Schlereth's study habits, and I know that Stink is watching Exos right now. He got done calling the Commanders game, and I'm sure he's on a plane or in a hotel somewhere, and he's watching Exos, which is the greatest. You want to talk about chef's kiss? That's Exos. It's a platform with only team access. Although there are some, like Stink and myself, that get team access. I don't get mine from the Broncos, don't worry. But you get to watch Exos. You can watch play-by-play. And it's like Game Pass used to be. Like, Game Pass used to be the snip, snap, snap. And then they kind of neutered Game Pass. And I remember NFL coaches were not happy that fans and media got access to the all 22. But like, Game Pass used to be able to go, show me every third down play. Show me every third and long play, 3rd and 7+, right? Show me every play. And it would just, and it just populate the plays. So I can watch a full game in like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes because of Exos. So Stink is watching Exos right now, but I'm here to tell you that the guys that do the game, and God bless James Lofton, God bless Jay Feely, and God bless whoever the other guy was. And I'm sorry I don't know your name. I'm not being a smartass. I'm not being a dumbass, although some may disagree. These guys don't watch. They don't watch. They do their game, then they travel, they go home, and then they travel to the next city and they do the next game. And they are told what to say by PR. They'll have their own observations. James Lofton is a Hall of Famer, so he's going to watch the game and he's going to observe. But it's not like these guys have been breaking down Jaleel McLaughlin's film. You know, they don't know, but they're told things. So when they're told things about the in-breaking routes and the crossers, think of the big plays we saw, the in-breaker and a crosser from Jerry Jeudy, in-breaker from Lil Jordan Humphrey, the slant from Jerry Jeudy. Like, they told you. And I understand fans supporting Russell Wilson, defending Russell Wilson. That's fine. You know, God bless you. God bless Russell Wilson. But they told you what he wasn't doing because they were told what he wasn't doing because it was true. So during the broadcast, you heard the announcer say, man, look at all those in-breaking routes. Something that Sean Payton said Russell Wilson was struggling to do. They were told that. They're not watching the tape. Not much of it anyway. They're showing up to the building, watching practice on Friday. They interview some players. They interview the coach. They're fed a bunch of information from PR. And then they go on the TV, on the Twitter, and they say what they were told. So always think of that when you're watching a game at home, because that is the best way to watch a game, by the way. Like, when you're watching a game at home and you hear something, they were told to say that, not an observation after a play. But if there's something where it's specific to what a coach said, it's because they were told that. And so they'll be told game plan pieces. If there's any sort of like special package of plays for Lucas Kroll or whatever, they'll be told that. Like, watch out for this play on Sunday. We're going to set this thing up for Lucas Kroll. Could be a big game. Or watch out for the flea flicker, something like that. Like, they will be told these things. And that means you can get some juicy nuggets from the announcing crew, no matter how annoying or not annoying they will be. So Russell Wilson wasn't doing those things. We saw more of those things, but Stidham was so rusty. He was incredibly rusty as a passer. It just didn't look good. It didn't look sharp. And that's not on Sean Payton. The design was there. The thing that's on Sean Payton is like, and again, this goes to his hubris. This goes to his arrogance. This goes to his tyrannical nature. You're going to make the move to bench Russell Wilson, and then your quarterback doesn't look real great. Okay. It would have looked better from a PR standpoint had Jarrett Stidham put on an air show today. And again, that's on Stidham. But then it's on the coach, because you know Stidham's game. You set up the plays. Sean Payton did a masterful job of setting up those plays. It just Stidham didn't hit him. The Dorsett play, which he probably should have launched earlier, like, that you didn't hit that play. There was another long one to Lil Jordan on the other side, memory serves, right? You didn't hit that play. Like, you had opportunities and you didn't make them happen because you're rusty and because you're Jarrett Stidham. So why is Sean Payton like Jarrett Stidham when this is what you're going to get? Like, that's all you're going to get from Jarrett Stidham. So, moving forward next week, Raiders, what does he show? I hope he shows a little bit better. And not only because forget the Raiders, and there's another word I want to use, but forget the Raiders. Yeah, what's he look like next week? Probably about the same. Maybe it's a little bit sharper. Maybe there's fewer hospital balls. Maybe he gets guys, leads guys a little bit more. And that's where the biggest surprise for me was today is the anticipatory throws from Jarrett Stidham that I knew would be there, not just from watching practice, but just from, okay, Russ is a chaos quarterback. He's kind of a see it, throw it guy where he's going to have to see you open before he throws it, unless it's deep, and then he just throws it up for Courtland, let him go get it. But like Russ on any sort of timing, like you have to be open and he has to see you. He wasn't seeing Jerry Jeudy, but with Jarrett Stidham, I felt there would be more anticipatory throws where he could throw it before a guy makes his break. Now the guy makes a break and the ball's already there. We've seen it a million times, right? Remember how much we saw it from John? I'll show off my John Elway t-shirt again. There's a listener in Germany who sent me this, Ralph. So shout out Ralph in Germany. And I can't pronounce his last name because it's German. But Ralph sent me this Elway jersey because he's a big Broncos fan over there. So sent me the t-shirt. I figured I'd wear it today because I just got it around Christmas time. I got it in the mail. So thank you for that, Ralph. Shout out Ralph from Germany. Anyway, like we've all seen that before. We saw it with Peyton Manning all the time. We're so spoiled with Peyton Manning. My God, Peyton Manning was so good. Remember? And now we're member berries. Remember Chewbacca? Remember Peyton Manning? Remember timing routes? Remember guys making their breaks and the ball was already in the air? Like that's what I thought, maybe foolishly, that we'd see from Jarrett Stidham. And again, it seemed like his feet were good. His hitches were good. It's just his arm. Maybe it was the windup. Maybe it's just he was a little bit hesitant. He didn't want to mess up. It's a big opportunity for Jarrett Stidham. And again, they won the game. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great. So like you kind of got that. Like, yeah, I don't want to lose lose this opportunity. Not that he'd lose his job. I don't think they'd go back to Russell Wilson unless there was some sort of, injury. Want everyone to stay healthy forever and ever and ever. But like with Stidham, there was just something a little bit off today. Maybe it's better against the Raiders. I would hope it would be. Maybe this is a reversal of last year where he looked good against the 49ers and then the Chiefs figured him out and he looked like crap. Now maybe he looks average against the Chargers and then he looks really good against the Raiders. Maybe. I'm open to that. I'm hopeful for that because I want to see good football. And I want to see this Sean Payton offense executed. I saw the Sean Payton offense today. I'll go back and count up the sale concepts, but I saw multi-level reads, sometimes those 5 receiver route combinations. You love to see it. It was fun from that sort of observation standpoint. It was fun when Jarrett Stidham would hit his guys and not throw it behind guys. And I know people will blame Jerry Jeudy for anything. There's a snowstorm in Denver. People be like, yeah, it's Jerry Judy's here. Like, I'm going to put a lot on Stidham this time around because even though it can be behind you and it can even hit you in your hands, you still got to put it better. You got to make it easy. You got to make it easier for your receivers. Stidham made him fight the ball almost all day, except for a handful of throws. I wanted better. I expected more from Jarrett Stidham. We just didn't get that today. So, and that's what this game is. I mean, you didn't have a 100-yard rusher, although Jaleel McLaughlin was able to get a couple of runs in. 8 for 44 for Jaleel McLaughlin. Javonte had 15 for 41. So again, under 3 yards a carry. I think that's the 9th game in a row. Under 3 yards a carry for Javonte. One thing that I will probably write at denversports.com for the offseason is like things to expect that'll be different next year. Javonte will be better next year. This is a broken Javonte just trying to do what he can out there. That knee will get right. He'll be a year and a half, almost 2 years from that injury. Javonte will look like so fresh and so clean, if I'm going to quote Andre 3000. Samaje Perine did his thing, whatever. And I've already talked about Jerry Jeudy and Brandon Johnson, what they, couldn't do because their quarterback didn't put them in a good situation. Broncos defense, Alex Singleton out there running around, making plays, talking a lot. If you miss that many tackles, would you really talk that much? I guess Alex Singleton just likes to talk. That's fine. PJ Locke with a pass defense. You did see Nick Bonito back out there for this team. He did have one tackle for loss, no quarterbacks hits, only one quarterback hit from Jonathan Allen, one quarterback hit from Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, sorry. Too many Jonathans. So there's that. We had one sack on the day. Of course, that was Jonathan Cooper. They had one sack. And Nick Bonito showed, I believe was on the first play, it was the carry by Eckler on the first play, like that they collapsed his side because Nick Bonito's pinning his ear back to go back to the quarterback, and they just run where he was at. And I don't know if his teammates were upset with him or just with the result of the play, but you definitely saw kind of the irritation and what was like a 6-yard game from Eckler or whatever, something like that. So yeah, you saw that. Is there really much to take away from? I like Drew Sanders making some plays, specifically on special teams, stopping that fake punt. Like, that's good for Drew Sanders. There's the young kid with some upside. You're excited about his future there. So I like seeing that. I already talked about Pat Surtain. So really, there's just not much here. 16-9, not a lot to take away from this game other than they won, and it was kind of ugly. But they win. A win is a win is a win. Are you going to get to 9 wins on the season? Are you going to be over 500? You're 500 right now. What remains in store for your Denver Broncos? It is Denver Sports Postgame Live. I am Cecil Lammey. We're growing our YouTube channel, so help us out. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. I'm going to get to some of your comments here. Please be kind. M. Taylor says, Jerry Jeudy's not our number 1 wide receiver. Yep. Jarhead says everyone had Jeudy high, though. Everyone was fooled. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy was almost everybody's number 1 receiver. Over Justin Jefferson, over Henry Ruggs. Jalen Reagor was in that class as well. Was Michael Pittman in there? Pittman was disappointing to me at the Senior Bowl because he's such a big-bodied. I was excited about him going into the Senior Bowl, and then he kind of let some smaller defensive backs kind of push him around a little bit. So Jamie says Stidham is a slappy. Stidham's average. I mean, he's okay. He's kind of funny in the locker room, if that gives him any sort of bonus points there. Skunk Life. What's up, Skunk Life? Trade Surtain to move up in the draft. Yeah. That's probably what you're going to do. And if you had better drafting from George Payton, not that I'm going to bring up Tariq Woolen, I'm going to bring up Tariq Woolen, who I know got benched for run defense, but he's back as a starter for Seattle. Like, you could have had, Delarian Turner, had you drafted Isaiah Pacheco instead of Montreal Washington, you wouldn't have to have Javonte out there with 2 yards of carry. You could have had Pacheco. Imagine Javonte and Pacheco sharing a backfield. The angriest duo in the league. What's his name from Good Morning Football would lose his mind, right? Like, that would be pretty cool. You don't get to see that. So, what do you get to see now? Nate asks, is it all about moral victories? No. But was this even a moral victory? Like, it was a victory, but was a moral can it be a moral loss? You know how when you lose, but a Kansas City game, you lose to Kansas City on Thursday night, but you barely do it, and you kind of figure out the way you're going to win going forward. So is that a moral victory, even though you lost? Tonight, is this a moral loss? Immoral loss. How about that? That sounds good, right? Sounds scandalous. It's an immoral loss because you win, but you're just kind of like, what did we learn? What did we learn? The hell did I watch for 3 hours? Like, what was that? What was that? Yeah, and talking about Henry Ruggs was higher than Jefferson. And he said, but Stidham is so handsome. Happy New Year, Steve. So happy New Year, Dennis. Appreciate you guys. Will they sit players for the final game? If you're Courtland Sutton, do you come back for the final game when you're probably not going to be a Denver Bronco next year? My answer is no. If I'm Courtland Sutton, I just, and it's a concussion, so it's different. Let's say this was like an ankle injury. And let's say, for example, Jalen Waddle has a high ankle sprain right now. He missed the game today for the Dolphins, who could have used him because they got their ass kicked by Baltimore. Anyway, point is this. If you're Sutton, and it's a concussion, so it's a little bit different. But if you're Sutton, do you come back for a final game from a quarterback that you don't have chemistry with to play for whatever, to risk further injury? Like, what if Courtland Sutton comes back for the game and he shreds his ACL? Who the hell wants that? Like, so will they sit players? Yeah. But you know what? Players will sit themselves. Please seat yourself. Yeah, please sit yourself. I think players like Sutton, and hopefully the concussion goes away and he doesn't have any headaches or whatever, because it's a brain bruise and it's a serious injury. So again, Sutton's a little bit different because of his nature of his injury. But you know, let's say, for example, I know you get rid of Kareem Jackson, and had you not, you could perhaps save Justin Simmons and then sit Justin Simmons. Anyone with value that you would think you could trade, which would include Pat Surtain, but you're not going to sit Pat Surtain, which would include Justin Simmons, but you're not going to sit Justin Simmons, which includes Courtland Sutton, but he might sit himself because of a concussion, who might not even be able to play anyway. You know, as you saw with CJ Stroud, it just takes some time, and it varies. Every concussion is different. So we can't say, like, it's been a week, what are you doing? It's been 2 weeks, what are you doing? It's been a month, what are you doing? Like, every concussion is different. And then they get worse. Or at least, I don't know, the opinions seem to change. I'm not a doctor. I didn't stay at Holiday Inn last night, but yeah, concussions are just bad news. So I don't want to say, like, Sutton could come back. Like, oh, I don't know. Brad D. What's up, Brad D? Says Bears want 3 first rounders. Then give him 3 first rounders. Give him Surtain and 2 first rounders. What do you want? If Sean Payton has identified Caleb Williams or Drake May as his gotta have him quarterback, then go get him. Are we really going to remember the missed 3 first rounders if Caleb Williams is that dude? Caleb Williams is interesting. I'm going to gather quite a bit of opinions on Caleb Williams when it comes to the offseason, when it comes to what scouts think of him, because the physical stuff is easy to see. Quarterback is a mental position. I want to know where his mentals are at. Take care of your mentals, as my president, Marshawn Lynch, would say. I love Marshawn. And I love when I worked out with him in LA for a week. This is when he played for Buffalo, so it'll tell you it was a while ago. And watch the World's Worst Workout on YouTube after this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. But watch the World's Worst Workout. I tweeted about it last week too, because my buddy Matt Waldman wrote a scouting report about it. It's me working out in LA when I was fat, and it's funny because fat guy sweating is funny and gross. But when I worked out with Marshawn, like hanging out with Marshawn, Mexican restaurants, drinks, everything, having fun. He wanted my watch, which it's funny because I have a real watch now. But at the time I had, what's the one company, golf club company, Callaway. I had a Callaway watch that was all like blinged out, but it was all fake. I got it at Target for like $30. But I wore it like to dinner with Marshawn. Marshawn wanted to buy it from me. I didn't have the heart to tell him, like, dude, this is totally fake. I have a real one now. And it was funny one time talking to my son. He was like, look at where you've come from, you know, because you used to have the fake bling watch and now you got a real one that I don't hardly wear because it's kind of like, nah, I don't need to wear that. Anyway, styles change, opinions change. Anyway, love Marshawn Lynch. Why did I bring up Marshawn? Because he said, take care of your mentals. I want to know the mental part of Caleb Williams' game. And what's funny about that week with Marshawn, I'll wrap up that story real quick. Whole week hanging out, buddy, like best friend. I got a new best friend. His name's Marshawn Lynch. At the end of the week, I had a camera crew with me. I was like, Marshawn, can we get you on camera? He's like, nah, dog, I'm good. That's just Marshawn. Tyler will tell you about that too. Tyler's really close with Marshawn because he is the greatest human being of all time. Anyway, like if Caleb Williams is that guy and Sean Payton has to have Caleb Williams, then get him. I don't give a flip about what it costs. It's going to cost 3 first rounders. Well, if George Payton's your GM, it doesn't flipping matter anyway. Hey, that guy that can't make picks, he doesn't have any picks to make. Well, good. It's preventative medicine for this Broncos team. I don't care. I don't give a damn. George Payton doesn't have any picks. George Payton probably not going to have his job. So if you find that guy, if you get a franchise quarterback, and maybe he's not, oh my God, we should not be, even though we're all human, most of us, we should not respond to the part of our brain that is based in fear. Because there's a fear. People like, hold on to those picks. It's the Tommy Boy. It's the guarantee on the box, right? It makes you feel good at night, makes you sleep better. I don't give a flip. I don't care about the draft picks. Am I Mr. Draft? I don't care. Trade him away. If you get your guy, then the fear comes in. Well, what if you trade all those picks and then you get Caleb Williams and then he's a bust because he's a prima donna and blah, blah, blah. Baby, I could get hit by a bus going to the gas station for a burrito. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the gas station for my flipping Raj's Taco House gas station burrito. They're awesome, by the way. Shout out. Anyway, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be afraid. What if they, yeah, okay. 3 first rounders, yeah, whatever. You want a 4th? If it's the guy and you get the guy and then he's the man, that's all that matters. If you get your franchise quarterback, that's all that matters. The Rams didn't have a first-round pick for about 7 years. I wanted to say a decade, but that's hyperbole. They had a first-round pick with Jared Goff, and then they went forever without a first-round pick. And they won a Super Bowl during that time. Not with Jared Goff, but they did go to 2 Super Bowls, and they won one. And I'm not saying do everything like the Rams. Somewhere Brian is going to be like, Kroenke sucks, the Rams suck. Okay, Brian, God, nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares, at all. I get those messages all the time. Can you talk about how Kroenke sucks? No, because I don't care. But if I look at what the Rams did without a first rounder, I go, why do you care? Could you assemble more talent? Yeah, but if you just draft better, you'll get the talent. If you just draft Tariq Woolen instead of Delaire Turner-Yell, there's your talent. If you draft Isaiah Pacheco instead of Montreal Washington, there's your talent. If you draft Trey McBride instead of Greg Dulcich, there's your talent. And none of those are first-round picks. None. Are we done? Do we not see how, first rounder, it doesn't matter. You can draft first rounders in the 7th round. If you're good enough, if you're lucky enough too, as well. Because remember, it's all about fit. Find the players that fit. Find the players that can make plays. That's what you do. So, oh my God, you won't have a first rounder for 3 years. Yeah, okay. Whatever. You'll have Caleb Williams. Or you'll have Drake May. You won't give up 3 first rounders for Jane Daniels, but whatever. Christopher says Broncos should think about trading PS2 and Justin Simmons. Yep. Now, Adrienne. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I mispronounce everything. It's like when people call me Cecil or Caesar. The Caesar one's funny. The Cecil one is just kind of interesting. You don't see a lot of Cecils. But Adrienne. Not Adrian, Adrienne. Great name, by the way. Let's get Winston at 24, Shedeur at 25. If that's your plan, then I can be down with that. If your plan is Jameis Winston, I am not happy. If your plan is, I know Teddy's going to retire, but Teddy Bridgewater, I am not happy. If your plan is Gardner Minshew, I am not happy. But if your plan is Winston 24, Shedeur 25, yeah, but is it going to come with Dion as well? Shedeur comes with his own package of questions. One, he's got to be faster with his reads. His pass placement is NFL level already. It was when I saw him at the spring game. He can place a ball in a bucket. Shedeur Sanders is excellent at that. There's something he can't do, though. You know what that is? Do it faster. Maybe that comes with more experience and more time. And then the whole Dion thing. I would love Shedeur to get into the pros because I want to see what he looks like away from Dion. I love Dion. I make no bones about it. Love Deion Sanders. I bought his rap album 4 times, and it's awful, but I bought it 4 times because I wore out the cassette. I wore out the 2 CDs, and then I bought it on MP3 on Apple Music. And it had an unreleased track. So there you go. I'm looking at this situation, and I go, if you are the Denver Broncos and you have a Shedeur Sanders there, okay, but what does he look like without dad? And I don't think daddy ball works. I would like him to be coached by an NFL coach that's not his dad. So yeah, if it's Shedeur in 25, well, you're not getting Dion because you wouldn't give up on Sean Payton after a year unless he just quits. And then if you did get Dion, well, that would be a hell of a story. But I'm not here for the story, baby. That's Troy Rank. And I say that lovingly because I love Troy Rank. He doesn't get as much grief as Mike Kliss does. And I love Mike Kliss too. Mike Kliss is a dear friend of mine. I want to go to Golden and drink margaritas with Mike Kliss. But like, no, Troy's always like, I'm about the story because Troy's a writer. I'm a writer and an analyst and a podcaster, artist, YouTuber. I don't know what I am. But I'll tell you what, I'm not here for the God blessed story. I'm here for the football. And I want good football. So if you tell me it's Winston, but then it's Shedeur, fine. But you're probably going to win too much. Either way, you're going to have to move up. You're not going to be in position for the number 1 overall pick, which Shedeur would be in 25. He would be trending that way anyway. A lot of things can change. At one time, Jarrett Stidham was considered a first-round pick, and he falls to the 4th. At one time, Jake Browning was considered, potentially a first-rounder, and he fell undrafted. At one time, Sam Howell was considered a number 1 overall pick because of Baker Mayfield, and Sam Howell fell to the 4th or 5th or whatever it was. So, yeah, but here's the problem. If you're going to have to move up for a quarterback, whether it's Shedeur Sanders in 25, Shedeur's got to be faster with his processing. He's got to be way faster. He can throw it in a bucket, but he's slow when it comes to that. Like, he sees guys, he knows I don't know if it's a trust thing or what, but I would like him to do, again, John Elway t-shirt. Yay, John Elway. Peyton Manning, anticipate. Pat Mahomes, anticipate. And you don't see that with Shedeur. He's a see it, throw it guy. He can throw it. It looks pretty good, but he's not an anticipatory guy yet. That doesn't mean he can't be, but I'd like evidence that he is before I move up. If you're going to move up for Caleb Williams. If you're going to move up for Drake May. If you're going to move up for Jaden Daniels. Why do we have to delay the gratitude? I understand that Broncos fans are going to have to be patient. Okay, it's going to take some time. But to quote Sir Smoke a lot, why? Yeah, you got to be patient. Yeah, unless you can just get the quarterback this next year and then go for it. Time is our most precious asset. You spend time. You pay attention. Are you going to pay attention to this garbage team with Jameis Winston at the quarterback? Yeah. It's Shedeur in 25. I got to sit through Jameis Winston in 24. Oh, I wish I could say the word that I'd want to say, but then I would get that email from corporate. I don't like getting those emails. Hey, could you not call Paxton Lynch a moron, please? I'm sorry. Jarhead. Frack. Yeah, exactly. I think Lobo says fraggin'. So yeah, so many fraggin' picks. Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo, by the way, since he's not going to be Aquaman anymore. Anyway, nerd time. Kevin says, take a look at Iowa defensive tackle Logan Lee. Tell me what you think. I will, Kevin. I appreciate you. Follow me on Twitter. And then denversports.com. I'll have all my draft reports. And yes, getting an impact defensive lineman would be great for this team. To help stuff the run. They don't stuff the run. Drew Sanders' play on the running back was dope. Drew Sanders is dope. And he's smart. He just doesn't know what he's doing yet. We're getting clues that he's getting it, though. That's what I like about Drew Sanders. He's been really rough this rookie season. He started out barely playing, and then he did play, and he couldn't make plays. And you're like, oh, my God, what's the matter with this kid? Now he's making plays. So you're getting flashes of what he could be, and I like it. I'm here for it. Here we go. T-Bone. Shedeur or Arch Manning? Give me either one. I think Shedeur, and we'd have to see Arch actually play. And with Arch, of course, you get everything that you get with a Manning. With Shedeur, I think because of that extra layer, his pass placement, like Arch Manning's pass placement, and again, we'd have to see him play. His pass placement is not what Shedeur's is. So for me right now, maybe in a year, I would prefer Arch Manning if he actually plays. And of course, you'd have to be draft eligible, all these sorts of things. But again, we're just waiting. We're waiting. go get your guy. And if he doesn't work in 2 years, go get another guy. And if he doesn't work in 2 years, go get another guy. Like, go. You have to find the quarterback. This team has been screwing around for too long. They've been screwing around for too long, messing around with the Case Keenums and your Joe Flacco's, and yes, even Drew Locke, although Drew is better, and I'm happy for him. Like, you messed around, you screwed around the entire time since Super Bowl 50, and you haven't just bitten the bullet. You haven't just done what you should have. You move up, you got a top first rounder, and then you flip and go. And if the kid doesn't work out, you flip and go again, and you're not put in this position where you're making god-awful trades for Russell Wilson. And it's not Russ. It's mostly George Payton and that stupid contract that he had to do or whatever. And I suppose I can say this. If I can't, Troy, I'm sorry. But I remember arguing with Troy Rank because he's like, of course they had to give him the contract. And I'm like, well, it wasn't for Mark Rodgers. Now, I don't talk to Mark Rodgers, but I talk to enough people because I was accused when I said accusatory 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I was on Stokely and Zach. And I said, hey, Russell Wilson's going to be available. And they were like, whoa. I think Stoke was like, whoa. Kept him from watching Pat McAfee. But Stoke was like, whoa, when it was, I believe it was 4 years ago. And I was like, Russell Wilson's going to be available because they were getting sick of him. This wasn't Russ wanting out of Seattle. This was Seattle being like, go, go, go. Enough, buddy. Enough. Like, done. We're done. I was accused at the time of talking to Mark Rodgers. I don't talk to agents. If I do, I don't tell you what agents tell me. You know why? Do you know what agents tell me? My player is the best player of all time. My player is the best. You know, every team in the world loves my player. There's even teams that haven't even been invented yet. There's billionaires out there that want to buy a team just so they can get my quarterback. That's what agents say. And there's too many in the media that just run with whatever agents say. So if I do talk to agents, I don't tell you guys what they tell me because they tell me bull crap for the most part because they tell everybody that. So if you listen to a media member that's an insider because they talk to agents, they're not an insider. They got someone that's using them as a propaganda outlet for their player. That's what it is. It's PR. It's the access game. Talk good about my player. I'll let you talk to my player. I don't give a crap. I'll talk to your player anyway because I want to talk ball. Right? So I remember arguing with Troy. Like, I had heard they had no pressure. Russ had 2 years left on his deal, and there was no pressure. Troy has heard differently. Troy's very well placed. So the conversation continues. They had to give Russell Wilson that contract. Well, then they shouldn't have traded for him. They shouldn't have traded for him. If you had to give Russell Wilson that contract, there's no way he's going to waive his no trade clause unless you give him the new deal. Then don't give him the new deal because it was one of the most poorly written deals in NFL history. It was awful. So if that's the case, if what Troy heard is correct and what I heard is incorrect, that they had to give him the contract, well, then forget him. And there's another word I could use there. Forget him. Well, what, Russ? You want the trade, but you won't do it unless you waive your no trade clause? See you, Pollyanna. Like, yeah, that's easy. But you were flipping desperate because you put yourself in a flipping corner because you can't draft a flipping quarterback to save your flipping life. God, this would be more fun if I could cuss. You did this to yourself. What is my daughters listen to Olivia Rodrigo. Doesn't she have a song like you made your own bed? You made your own bed, now lie in it. Broncos, this is what you get. You got to pay Russell Wilson $1 zillion to not be here. Yeah, you flipped up. That's on you. There's my sister, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Pot stoner degenerate Jason. Got that smoking gun hat for you, buddy. I'll be up to Greeley. This guy, Jason here, this pot stoner degenerate, he owes me chicken fajita burrito and a Slurpee, right? Mountain Dew Slurpee from 7-Eleven. So I'll be in Greeley. I'll come up north and see you. I'll go look at that pawn shop with the comic books. I buy comic book collections, by the way. Anyway, so close. Yes, I know. It would be nice. It would be nice. That's right. All right. I think I'm done for now. I hope you guys have a safe and happy New Year's, and safe being the emphasis first and foremost. It's not all about toasting at midnight for everyone. Yeah. Robbie, I agree with agreeing with me, Robbie. Like, yeah, get Jaden Daniels. We see what that dangerous passer with that rushing ability does. Look at Lamar Jackson. I'm getting chills, and I hate Baltimore. Like literal hate in my soul. I hate Baltimore. I hate the Ravens. I hate their fans. I hate John Harbaugh. I don't hate John Harbaugh, but like I love Lamar Jackson. I love him. You can have a new Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels if you'll only move up in the draft, which is what you're going to have to do anyway. So if your plan is Shedeur Sanders in 2025, okay, that's your plan. May not be my plan. I need to see Shedeur get faster, and I need him to see him away from daddy. Maybe not my plan, although I do love Shedeur's pass placement. But if your plan is 25, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to move up anyway. Because if you get Jameis Winston, you're going to win 7 games. And if you get Gardner Minshew, you're going to win 7 games. And if you roll with Jarrett Stidham, you're going to win 7, 8 games. Like, yeah. Change the record. That is one of the most underrated Step Brothers quotes. Change the record. There we go. All right. Nate says stay extra frosty tonight. Yes, because stay frosty is a military term. It means be cautious and look out for danger. So every time I say stay frosty, and I saw, excuse me, sorry for burping. I'm sorry for bodily functions. I was at Hogback Barbecue, shout out, the other night in Littleton, and I was leaving after a fantastic meal, and I saw a couple of fans, I believe it was James and Jason, different Jason, that said hi. They were there with their families, and they said hi. And as I was leaving and we're exchanging pleasantries, they're like, stay frosty. And I was like, yeah, stay frosty isn't about drinking. I've said it before on the show. I haven't drank since my birthday, which is in August. Not that I drank too much, because I didn't. I used to carry, my sister will back this up. Like I used to only get hammered twice a year, one on my birthday, one at Super Bowl. Then I started going to Super Bowls. I was like, well, it's probably be a bad look. Probably get my media credential pulled if I'm at the Super Bowl getting hammered. So don't do that anymore. And again, just it's my choice. It's not like I had any sort of drinking problem or whatever. I got too much stuff to do, man. I got 2 jobs. I run an independent comic book company. I buy comic book collections all the time. Like I got way too much to do. Almost every day I wake up and I'm like, how am I going to get it all done? Well, I'm going to try. So again, that's my journey. Doesn't mean I'm better or worse than anyone. Like, go get hammered tonight. Just be safe. Go smoke it up tonight. Just be safe. You know, go edibles all day. Where's Jake Plummer with the mushrooms, right? Watch corporate. Like, could you please stop talking about mushrooms on the postgame show? You're corporate, you'll be fine, baby. Like, we'll all be fine. It's New Year's, right, baby? Get down how you get down. So whatever it is that you do and however that you do it, just be safe. Don't be dumb. You know, 2 rules in life. Don't be dumb. Don't be in a cult. And please, as I enter 2024, I beg of you all, 2024 is going to have a lot of cult-like behavior from 2 different sides. Yes, I'm going to go there. Please remember humanity. Please remember how we're all more similar than we are dissimilar. Don't be in a cult. That's the bottom line. So don't be dumb. Don't be in a cult. Go party your ass off. Don't be dumb. And then don't end up in a cult from partying your ass off. Anyway, I'm getting out of control. All right. Thank you. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for helping grow our YouTube channel. I mean, it's been amazing, to quote Archer, because I love Archer. You guys have come through in a big, big way. I'm very, very happy about that. I'm helping to promote our YouTube channel and doing a lot of behind the scenes work, a lot of work, and it's paying off. And it's making corporate happy, which is good, because then I make them mad when I talk about mushrooms in the postgame show. But anyway, so I made corporate happy and I made corporate mad. So, in the middle, I'm like in the middle. They think I'm okay. They think I'm Jarrett Stidham, right? Like, I'm okay, but I'm not the greatest, whatever. He talks about mushrooms, but boy, he's growing the YouTube channel. Either way, like, that's a large part of my job, is helping to grow the YouTube channel. So if you like me, even if you don't like me, please help us do that. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And we appreciate you. We work really hard. There's 6 of us at denversports.com. We work really, really hard for you, the Denver sports fan, and we love you guys. We appreciate it. We want the Broncos to be great. Want the Nuggets to win another one, just because the reaction would be great from the national media. Go Avs, go Rockies, go CU Buffs, love Dion. We're here for you. denversports.com, Denver Sports Daily. Go grab it. Check it out. YouTube channel. Like. Thank you. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks for watching. Have a safe and happy new year. Stay tuned and stay frosty.